The Grumman F-14 Tomcat, arguably the most famous fighter jet aircraft in history. For decades, these jets were the backbone of the U.S. Navy's fleet defense. But what if I told you that the United States didn't just retire this plane, they tried to erase it from existence? In today's video, we are going to look at the legendary F-14 Tomcat and explain why this amazing machine is completely banned from flying today. The F-14 Tomcat first entered service in September 1974, and it was designed to defend Navy carrier battle groups against Soviet bombers. It was a beast. It featured variable sweep wings that could adjust automatically for speed, and it carried the massive AIM-54 Phoenix missile, a weapon that could detect targets 100 miles away. It was big, fast, and undeniably cool. This aircraft holds a special place in my heart, hence it's the face of this channel. For over 30 years, it was the symbol of American naval air power, but in 2006, the Navy officially retired the Tomcat. It was replaced with the F-18 Super Hornet, which had more modern technology and cheaper maintenance costs. Usually, when a U.S. fighter is retired, it heads to a boneyard in Arizona or New Mexico. There, they sit in the desert sun waiting to be sold to allies, converted into drones, or bought by wealthy civilian collectors. You can even find some of these rare jets like this MiG-29 flying in private hands today. But not the Tomcat. The F-14 was practically erased from existence, but why? The reason the F-14 is illegal from flight today is political, and it goes back to an unfortunate sales deal made in the 1970s. Before the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the United States and Iran were actually close allies. Iran wanted a modern fighter to keep Soviet MiG-25s out of their airspace. The US offered two jets, the F-15 Eagle or the F-14 Tomcat, and Iran chose the Tomcat. The US sold Iran 79 F-14s from 1976 to 1978. It seemed like a great business deal at the time, but just 1 year later in 1978, Iran was overthrown and the Islamic Republic was established, and suddenly one of America's biggest enemies had their most advanced fighter jet. Decades later, while the U.S. Navy was winding down on its F-14 operations, the Iranian Air Force was desperate to keep theirs flying. But an F-14 is very complex and needs very specific, expensive parts to stay in the air. Since the U.S. had put a strict blockade on Iran, the Iranians couldn't just buy parts from Grumman, so they turned to the black market. In the early 2000s, U.S. custom agents uncovered a massive network of smugglers trying to get F-14 components. They found that parts from retired U.S. Navy Tomcats, originally sold for scrap metal, were finding their way into the Middle East, keeping enemy jets flying. After this, the Pentagon realized they had a massive security leak. As long as retired F-14 sat in the boneyard, there was a risk that parts would be smuggled to Iran. In 2006, the F-14 was officially retired from service, with the F-18 taking its place. Then in January 2008, Order 4986, signed by President George W. Bush, stated that Grumman was banned from producing and selling any F-14 parts. It also stated that the F-14 was illegal to fly in the U.S. or allied countries. Shortly after, any remaining Tomcats were scrapped or put into museums. And I don't mean carefully dismantled, I mean literally destroyed. Giant industrial machines shredded the fuselage, wings, and avionics of roughly 150 retired F-14s. Only about 10 F-14s are still intact in boneyards today, and they have had their wing spars cut beyond repair, ensuring they will never fly again. This is why you will never see an F-14 in an air show. There are Tomcats lifting museums such as the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., the Intrepid Museum in New York, and the Naval Aviation Museum in Florida. But these aircraft are just empty airframes with no useful parts inside. Even after all that, if a museum wants to display one, they have to agree to incredibly strict inspections to ensure the plane has been gutted of any useful internal components. If the museum closes, the government takes the plane back and scraps it. Today, the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force is the sole operator of the F-14 Tomcat. Through careful maintenance and smuggling in the past, they have managed to keep a handful of these cats flying. There's only one known place in the world where the public can see Tomcats in action. The Kish Island Air Show, also known as the Persian Gulf Air Show, is the only air show event that Iranian F-14s usually attend. However, it is very difficult for any non-Iranian citizens to attend this air show, but it is on my bucket list to see one of the last flying Tomcats. The total produced by Grumman was 712 airframes. Today, 0 fly in any country besides Iran, and an estimated 10 are still in airworthy condition. The F-14 Tomcat was a victim of its own engineering. It wasn't banned because it was too dangerous to fly or because it was a bad design. It was banned because it was too good of an aircraft in the hands of the wrong people. After 32 years of honorable service, the U.S. decided it was better to turn their own masterpiece into scrap metal than allow the enemy to keep them flying. Would you love to see the F-14 fly again, or do you think the government made the right call by destroying them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. The right answer is yes. Any other answer is punishable by death. God, I have such low self-esteem. And with that, long live the Tomcat, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye!